Hey everybody, it is Kendall Laniche, your fave life coach, the remix coach. And I want just to talk to y'all for a moment about life, love, and loss, right? And I'm not talking about the loss that um, we'll get into that. But I hope everyone is having a happy Sunday. I hope you are having an amazing day. I hope you got the word in you a little bit. I hope you got God on the brain because He always has you on the brain. All right, I'm gonna try to be quick with this, and I'm gonna try to be um, short. So, a sister friend of mine I talked about on the last episode of Remixing Relationships um, lost her husband quickly and without warning. Right? So I want to talk about just love and the love that they had for one another and the love that you may have for your spouse, significant other, boyfriend, girlfriend, fiance, or whoever. And love is one of the most powerful things that we have. I was looking at Galatians 3:14. Most of all, let love guide your life. So some of you might say, okay, well, love is not the end all be all. Of course, God first loved us, right? We love ourselves. We love our families. We love the people that we encounter that come into. And sometimes you meet somebody, you get married, and it lasts a lifetime. You experience love in a whole new way that you've never experienced love before. And you go through life with that love, or you go through a certain period of time with that love. And you allow love to guide your life, no matter the pain, no matter the background, no matter the hardship that you experience in love. You could have a love that you've never seen before growing up. And some people take it for granted that they've had parents who actually love them or who had family members who actually love them. And some people don't have that love, and some people don't have that connection. Then when they meet people and get into relationships, they have a love like they've never had. And they cherish that love and they honor that love and they do everything the word says do in love. They're patient, they're kind, they don't brag, they don't boast, they love on them, right? They don't compare, they don't compete. They just want to do the best job at loving a person. And everybody's experience is different. No one's is the same when it comes to how they love, because how they were loved is not the same. Um, so just imagine having a love and they're no longer here. Like, what do you do? The Bible says still lead with love. And I can say my friend has definitely allowed love to guide her and loving God and loving her husband. And oftentimes we hear on social media that, you know, this person getting divorced, or this person going through this, or this person being rude to this person, or this one abusing this person emotionally, physically, or this person having a toxic relationship or unhealthy relationship. And we hear that often, right? Um, but their love, I've seen it up close. And it was like no other, the way that she loved him. Now talking about my friend, and my heart really goes out to her. So I want your prayers to go out for her as well, because this is difficult. He who loves his own wife loves himself. For no one ever hated his own flesh, but nourishes and cherishes it, just like Christ also has done with the church. That's Ephesians 5:8-33. So you're going to get some scriptures today on this Sunday, and you are going to hear about love, because Love is the one thing that we have that we can get for free and we can give for free, especially if you know how to love. And that's honoring God, honoring yourself. And then also the people that you come encounter with in a relationship, in a marriage, in a friendship, in a bond that you have with someone. And I think about her, and she really exemplifies what love is: the patience, the kindness, you know, that the fruits of the Spirit. And that's what love really is. So if somebody is not loving you based off of that, then you have, or you're not loving somebody based off of that, then you really want to re-examine and go in a different way, leading with love. Now, when life happens and sometimes love just doesn't work and people part, and some people work through it and the love is in a different way and it shows up differently, and they decide to stay in that thing and continue to love. And I look at cherish. What does the word cherish mean? Make sure that computer doesn't start more. What does the word cherish mean? It means to comfort, warm, and soften, and it can go even deeper emotionally. 1 second. Computer want to update now. And I think about just love, right? I talk about relationships often. And you ever see somebody out and you can look and you be like, they don't even like each other. They're both on their phones the whole time. They're not trying to spend time with each other. Ain't nobody looking at each other. Ain't nobody looking in no eyes. Ain't nobody saying nothing. They're just doing that. And then you looking like, Then you see some people engaging, having a conversation, smiling at each other, laughing, talking, phones ain't even no place in sight. You see a certain connection that people have. And when I saw my friends, the connection that they have, it was amazing. And all the way to the end. And when we pray and we ask God for hope, right? We ask God to work what he says he's going to do. And we ask God to give us strength. And we ask God to save people in our lives. And we ask God to work his miracles. And then sometimes it doesn't come out the way that we want. And then some people stop loving God or stop loving themselves. And I know that could be easy to do when you're hurting. And then some people come out loving God even more. But life will give you so many twists and turns that you never knew that you can deal with or you can handle. But everything reverts back to love. And we've all been in a place where we have lost someone we love, right? I think about my favorite cousin. I think about my grandfather. I think about family members. I think about, friends like, I lost a friend at a young age in high school too. And every time I hear this song, who do you love? Girl, I'm in love with you. And we were really good friends. I remember he was at my house one time. We were in high school and we were just watching videos and that song came up and that was my boy and we was dancing and stuff. I just heard that song the other day, Joey. And I was just like, wow. So you just think about things throughout your life like, oh, wow. Experience some loss. And I talk about it even in my book, like how to heal from loss, because it's not always easy. And sometimes we think we can't get through it. And unfortunately, sometimes people cannot get through it. It's a blow that's pungent. And when I think about my friend losing her best friend and her husband, been together 27 years, that's not easy, right? And we know that loss is a part of life. Loss is a part of love. but it doesn't make it easier. Isaiah 46:4 says God will carry you. It's not in the scriptures just because. It comes a time where we know that God has to carry us, because we can't carry ourselves. We can't do what God can do. I always say I stay in a child's place and mind my business and let the Father do his job. Like, it's certain things that we can't do as humans. And it says, lean on not your own understanding, right? So when we try to figure out things that happen and we're racking our brains trying to understand, we can't really understand because it's not meant for us to understand. So we're crying and we're trying to figure it out. And tears are therapeutic. They're good for your health. And also Psalms 56:8 says, God collects your tears. Each one is recorded. So he sees the sadness. He sees the sorrow. And even throughout, when it seems like he's not there, he is there. And I know sometimes it may be hard to believe because of the pain, because of the loss, because of life and how life happens, and, not fair. And people don't understand. We don't understand. But to love and protect and care for someone or something that is important to you is the definition of cherish. Often when we talk about cherishing something or someone, we refer in deeply into deeply treasured person, right? And when you're deeply in love, that's what it is. And it's not making the person above God or anything like that, but it's the person. We all were called here to love, right? We were born in love, made in love. And some people might say, well, some people weren't born in love, or some people weren't made in love. But if God allowed you to get here, that's what I'm talking about, not the circumstances of the people who may have had you, but how you were made. Because if you made it here, because everybody doesn't make it here. When I say here on earth, everybody doesn't make it here. And if you made it here, then you were here out of love. And not, remember what I'm saying, not the circumstances of who was used as a vessel to get you here. So commitment and covenant, I want to talk about that in marriage quickly. Biblically, relationships emphasize commitment, often expressed through covenants such as marriage. For example, Genesis 2:24 says, a man shall leave his father and mother and be united to his wife, and they will become one flesh. And it speaks on the deep bond and the unity intended in romantic relationships. So think about that for a moment. You become one flesh. So you become one. You're still your own person. They're still their own person, but you're so connected in a way that you become one flesh. And that's in romantic relationships. And in that, there is forgiveness, there's grace, there's mercy that you give someone. And just because someone is tight or in love or in a relationship or a solid marriage doesn't mean that other things don't come into play and it's perfect. It means that you're loving somebody through it. And in loving somebody through it is forgiveness and grace. No relationship was without conflict. The Bible encourages forgiveness and grace in Galatians 3:13 reminds us to bear with each other and forgive one another. If any of you have grievances against someone, forgive as the Lord forgave you. And that's the thing. I want to read something else, and I want to encourage you to love somebody today, make amends with someone today, forgive, because you don't want things to happen. You'd be like, oh, I wish I would have done this. Wish I would have made the call. I wish I would have, everybody got a wish I would have if something happens. And a lot of times when somebody passes away or is removed from your life, you're thinking of all the things that you wish you would have said. You're thinking about all the things that you wish you would have done, and only if this person knew. And so many people have egos, and so many people stand on business, and I'm not doing this and I'm not doing that. And life is truly precious. It's truly, truly precious. There should not be anybody out there that you love, right? That you're holding on to something that happened 5 years ago, 10 years ago, 20 years ago, last week, last month, and it's hurting you. You have to be able to let it go and release that and tell the people how you feel, because you think people are here forever and people are not, right? So it's so important to do that. And as I see my friend like being just an amazing person, I told her yesterday when I was at the hospital, like, you just are amazing. You're an amazing wife. You're doing amazing by your husband. You're doing so well loving him, and he's just blessed enough to have you. The way that you love him and care for him is unmatched. And I just want to tell you that, and I know he's told her that plenty of times, but if you can't say the words, do you know? And when your relationship is solid like that and somebody is not won't speak, unable to speak, do you know? So it is your duty to tell somebody. And so many people hold on to so many foolish things and you just never know. And then people want to live on a wish sandwich. I wish I did. I wish I did. I wish I did. Don't wish you did, and do. So I want to encourage you to call somebody, text somebody that you may have had words with, or you love the person, or you miss the person, but your ego is standing in the way. Ego edging God out. Ego. And you're saying it's the principle. But if somebody said, well, why are you mad? Why stop loving that person? You may not even know. And it doesn't have to be a romantic relationship. It could be a friendship and you miss the person, but you're standing on business and not telling that person. So I just want to talk about grief, and then I'm leaving. So for my degree, I had to intern at Roberta's house in Baltimore, Maryland. It's a grief and loss center. And when I tell you the pain that used to be in that space was jarring. And I used to leave there like calling my mom. I just want to tell you I love you, because it was made up of people who had lost their mothers, people who had lost their fathers. It was homicide. So it was the different ways that you can lose somebody. And you would hear, and Vina, I got to tag her. She was a intern there as well. And so many other people, Sade. And the wailing that you would hear in there was, you can't get it out of your mind. And I was interning there, and I remember like, oh, I don't know if I would want to work here. When they were like, hey, what you doing after this? I was like, I got a job, because it was so heartbreaking. Like I would just be in the parking lot before I could pull off, just trying to get myself together. And I was in charge of, or part of the group where it was mothers who lost their children, their baby babies. And to hear the stories of that, and to just hear that. So I know a lot of grief and loss therapists as well. So if somebody's out there struggling through grief and loss, I got Carrie on deck, and I got Sade. They specialize in grief and loss therapy and counseling. And I'm definitely going to make sure my friend has that, because she lost her best friend, which was her husband. And it's so important to have that. And if you're in the Baltimore area, it's totally free to go to Roberta's house. And they have, I think, one in the DMV, PG County as well. well. But it's important to be around a community who understands what you're going through. And everybody was there. And it was just a beautiful experience, even though it was heart-wrenching and draining. It was a beautiful experience to be there. We fed them, we served them. Literally, we would have our aprons on and they would all come into like the cafeteria area and we would serve the people who were grieving. We would, prepare the food. They would have free food there. They would have their sessions and but it's not easy. And somebody out there other than my friend has lost somebody. It's not easy. And some people lost somebody years ago and you're still not getting through it. I just want you to know that I see you. And if you need grief therapy, I'll try to get you some pro bono. You won't have to pay for it. Definitely hit me up because I think it's crucial. Love loss is profound experience that can deeply affect someone's emotions, mental and spiritual well-being. The Bible addresses loss in different ways, offering comfort and guidance to those grieving the end of a relationship, whether it's through, losing someone like my friend did. And it's important to be able to get some help through that. I'm going to read something to you real quick and then I'm going to end. So it just messed me up. And when I tell you, he was a good guy, full of life, full of love, and full of light. Like that was my boy. Very supportive. They were like family. They are family to me. And every time I saw him, his name was Joe. I'd be like, "We did it, Joe. We did it." When Kamala did that, like that's what I would say to him. Like he was light. Like, "Hey, little lady." I got a chance to talk to him the other day. First thing he was like, "Hey, little lady, how you doing?" He just was just a beautiful person. And I will watch, and I will watch my friend when he came into the room just light up like a Christmas tree. Light up. And after 27 years, your husband walk in the room and you lighten up like that. And you say something and she'd do this little giggle and she still was like that. Like she was still 27 years later, head over heels for him. So I just want to read this and then I'm going to get out of here. Whew. God is close to the brokenhearted. Psalms 34:18 says, "The Lord is close to the brokenhearted and save those who are crushed in spirit." This verse reminds us in the moments of deep sorrow and loss, God is near and offering his comfort and presence. Jesus as a source of comfort, Matthew 11:28-30 says, "Come to me, all who are weary and burdened, and I will give you rest. Take my yoke upon you and learn from me, for a gentle and humble in heart, you will find rest for your souls." There's a time for everything. Ecclesiastes 3:1-4 says, "There's a time for everything and a season for every activity under heavens, a time to be born and a time to not be here, a time to weep and a time to laugh, a time to mourn and a time to dance." Hope beyond the pain. Revelations 21:4 says, "He will wipe every tear from your eye. There will be no more mourning or crying or pain, for those older things have passed away." God is healing and renewal. Isaiah 61:1-3 says, "He sent me to bind up the brokenhearted, to proclaim freedom for the captives, to comfort all who wound and provide those who grieve." And the comfort is in God and applying it. So the grieving process, acknowledging that it's okay to mourn loss of love, whether it's however it's lost, right? You Seek God's comfort using prayer and reflection on scriptures to invite God into the healing process, trusting his presence will bring peace. And then the hope for renewal, understanding that while loss is painful, there is hope for the future. And God promises to bring restoration in his time. One thing about my friend, she is a believer. She will pray down. She was part of my prayer team when I had cancer. And on the Zooms before my surgery and everything, they were praying down to the ground for me, my friends. And she was part of that, and she'll always be, she just pulls out prayer. She prays for me all the time about cancer, about my career, about my love, about my trials, whatever. She's praying for me. So the least I can do is pray for her and collect some prayers for her. So y'all pray for the Hedgeman family as they are going through this, and all who loved Joe, all who love Basine, even if you never met them. Because I'm going to tell you one thing's for sure, two's for certain. You can meet Basine for 60 seconds, and she going to mention Joe's name at least 60 times. That's how much she loves him. So just please keep her in your prayers. Please, please, please. I ask that of you. And pray for my boy, Joe. Joe is not in pain. Joe is at peace. And Joe left here knowing that he was loved. I thank y'all for watching. Please share this out. If somebody needs to hear it, if you were blessed by this, someone else will be blessed. I appreciate y'all. God bless y'all. Peace. Subscribe to my channel.